Good morning and merry meet, everyone. My name is Houston. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I'm your Wednesday host. And this week we are talking about week 17. We are talking about our deities, who we work with, who we honor. I don't like to use the term worship, so I don't worship just to get this off the rip, I don't worship my deities like in days of old or in other religions. I honor them and I work with them. So, with that being said, I work with a lot of different deities. And that's just because, not really so much that I'm scatterbrained, but it feels correct for me to work with different deities for certain things. First and foremost, I work with the god Poseidon. He is my matron. That's why I have his trident tattooed on my arm. Or patron. Sorry, matron's for female. Sorry, I apologize for that. He's my patron god. But of he's one of two patrons. And there's a thing that on YouTube and on social media that states you can only have one patron and matron deity that you regularly work with. I don't believe that to be the case, at least not for me. I believe that there are tons of god and goddesses that are out there, kind of like my spirit guides, that are giving me guidance and protection, even though I don't know who they are yet. And they're slowly revealing themselves to me, and I think it's really cool. I find it fascinating. On that subject, I actually found out that one of my guardians of the elemental guardians is one of my spirit guides, but is also a goddess. Her name is Sekhmet. I know her in her fiery lion set, in her fiery lion form. That's what she came to me as. And when I typed in fiery lion on Google in a goddess or a god, it came up the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. To be truthful, I have not done a lot of research. I have felt her presence. I do have a book of spirits at home that I do need to just crack open and start reading information about her and write it down on a book of shadows. But I've not. I've gone off of intuitively what I feel from her. And what I feel is extremely passionate. She's very, very passionate about anything that she sets her mind to. She puts 100%, 110% effort in anything she does. And I'm super excited to actually, like, hardcore start working with Sekhmet. Now, I think on my personal channel, I did a room tour. I do have statuaries of the three Greek brothers. So that's Zeus, Poseidon, Hades. I do work with them as well. Since Poseidon is my patron god, I decided to incorporate his brothers. It's a very interesting energy when you bring them all in at one time. I don't recommend it, really. It's kind of chaotic. But I also work with the god Cernunnos, or the horn god. Cernunnos, he goes by many names: Cernunnos, Hern, Pan. Also work with the Green Man aspect. And he's another one of my patrons. I've been working with him since I started. Poseidon really came to me when I moved down here to Charleston, and I apologize for the cold and stuffiness. I'm gonna take some medication after I eat my breakfast. And now, goddess-wise, I did say Sekhmet was one of them. I work with the goddess Cerridwen, and also I've worked with the goddess Persephone and Demeter. And Gaia. I think Caradwin and Gaia have been the ones that have and Segment have been the ones that stuck throughout the years. Segment is, like I said, the newest one that's made herself known to me. So it's been um, the Horn God and the Green Man aspect, Poseidon, Gaia, and um, I don't work with Demeter as much as I used to. Um, and I'm still thinking Greek pantheon, and I apologize for that. Um, but the other goddess, other than Gaia, would be Caradwin. I see her as the Cronin maiden, a Cronin mother, the triple goddess aspect, um, all on her own. And I think Gaia has the triple goddess aspect as well. Um, and that's what I kind of like, the triple goddess and the triple god aspect. Um, I see that in the three brothers as well. Even though Zeus is the eldest, I see him more as the lover, um, or the son, because he is mischievous. He does go on about different sexual escapades, and where I see Poseidon as the father, because he is nurturing of the ocean and of the land, and I see Hades as the sage because he is the one you see at death. He is the one, the one who resides over the world of the dead. Um, does that mean their physical forms are going to look like a kid, a dad, and a grandfather? No. They can change their physical form. So I'm trying to think about any other deities that I've worked with. Um, I've worked with the god Horus. Um, I haven't as much recently. And when I say work with, I don't mean that I've set up a shrine for them and then work with them for a little while, get what I want, and then take the shrine down. No, what I mean is, in a particular time of my life, some things have come up and they have appeared. Horus possibly is still hanging around. I just don't feel him as much as I used to. But I remember this one time. I was in college and I was living in student housing by myself. And our student housing down here, at least the college I went to, was an apartment complex. So I mean, you had a two-bedroom apartment complex, and it was shared between four guys. So not your particular standard dormitory, but it was two guys per bedroom. In this particular time, I didn't have anyone in. It was between semesters, and the other three have graduated. I did not. I wasn't up for graduation yet, so I was in between. It was like a 2 or 3 month span in between before someone new um, came in. I think it was 2 months. That was a break, um, summer break or winter break or something. I don't remember, but it was a very unsettling time for me because I'm used to coming home at night from classes and stuff. There's still semesters and stuff going because it was classes and things, and there being someone at least home. So for me, that was kind of like a safety drawback, having someone, a roommate or whatever, home. Um, so it was kind of unsettling when that didn't happen or when that wasn't there. So I would get into these almost like panicky um, moments, and one of those moments, I got home. I think this is when I lived on James Island. I got home. It was dark in the house. I think we heard of like student robberies or whatever, and I was just normal lifetime or normal me. I would just kind of lock the door, kind of paranoid, because I had a lot of expensive stuff. Because I was a photography student, but I also had my laptop, my gaming system, and things like that I really didn't want stolen. And I've heard horror stories of students being held at gunpoint for their stuff, and I didn't want that to happen. And so one of my anxiety attacks. and all of a sudden I saw the Eye of Horus and his full figure in my mind's eye, and he started, me and him started this monologue together. I know what the Flora Sage calls it, daily divine dialogue, when you talk to your spiritual team. And that was just happening between me and him, and he helped me set up protection, and he helped me feel protected throughout that time. Um, I still think he's there, but I just don't feel him as much, which is, I probably, if I put my effort into it, I probably could. But um, so yeah, so I work with mainly Poseidon and Cernunnos, Caerdwyn, and Gaia. Those are my four main guys that I call on when I am doing magic. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and could understand me through the sinus madness. And until next week, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you then.